Am I on? Is this thing on? Come on in. Anyone? I'm looking to see if I'm on. I'm going over to the Saving Dinner page. Hello, hello. Other than that, let's see what we have. Is anyone here? I feel like I'm all alone in the land of fruit and nuts, just all by myself. Anybody? I haven't even shown up yet. You guys, I don't see me on the Facebook page. Oh, I think maybe we're finally connecting here. Let's blame it on the connections. You know, I heard that there's a lot of people Netflix streaming and it's throttling everyone. So if you get a weird connection or something like that, I'm doing the best I can on my part. But you could also have on your stream be having people who are just binge watching something. Ah, Joanne. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Joanne's a big crocheter. Hello, hello. Come on in, everybody. It's time to get busy. It's time to get busy. There's my girl, Yvonne. Hello, Yvonne. Good to see you. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. There's our Jenny. Yay. I always feel better when I see Jenny. That means it's working. Oh, my word. Come on in, you guys. Come on in. Hello, hello. Oh, gosh. And you know what? I forgot to look up the winner. Well, I'll be on again tomorrow. Sorry, you guys. I'm just, you know, a day late and $1 short. There's my girl, Lisa and Jamma. Yay. Good to see my girls. And Susan. Yeah, please bring in the firewood. You have 10 minutes? I'm here for you, Susan. So just a couple of announcements while everybody's getting in. As you know, our Full Bloom event has turned into a virtual event. We've had to do that because getting together, well, I don't need to explain the coronavirus to you today, do I? But it's good news because you know what we're going to do? We're still going to have our big event. We're still going to have our event and get together. That's going to happen again. But we're also going to have it virtually. So it's kind of a twofer, you know? If you are a member already, I'm promising you, you're going to be already there. We're going to have a virtual swag bag. We're going to do so many things. We're going to make this a fantastic thing. We are going to take our lemons and turn them into lemonade, ladies. So be watching for that. That will be coming. If you're on our email list, great. You'll get all the information. If you're not, now's the time. Go to savingdinner.com and you'll get a free menu while you're at it for the whole thing. There's my girl Vanessa and Joanne. Good to see my girls. I'm so happy that you're here. We have a new quote of the week. I've been thinking long and hard about, you know, how do we stay in a way that is, you know, how do we stay positive? How do we keep our minds on the right thing? And several things, you know, I think I've shared this story with you before, but, you know, once upon a time, I used to have a drive radio show in the Los Angeles market called Heart of a Woman, and it was on a Christian radio station. And my whole thing was, how can I encourage women? How can I bring them into a place of heart expansion, of loving their families, loving themselves, loving their God, and being in a place where they're not fearful, they're not afraid. This was just right after 9/11 that I had this show. And my whole focus at that time was just on what we can do. Because I think where we fall apart is, and this place of overwhelmedness is because there's a bunch of things that we cannot do. So if our focus then is on what we can do, then that's a comfort, right? So just remember this, what we focus on expands. And so that's why today I want to talk about being a help. The thing that just kept coming to me when I was, you know, when I had my Heart of a Woman show, this Fred Rogers died at the time, Mr. Rogers, as you all know. And I was just heartbroken by it. I just always considered him to be such a bright light in this world, and a man of God and a heart that was very obvious to see. And I emulated him. I wanted to be like Mr. Rogers for women. And I wanted people to look at me and say, you know, when I see Leanne, it's her heart that I see. And that was Mr. Rogers modeling for me. And so when I got Mrs. Rogers' book, I was able to grab this book and interview her and talk to her about her husband. And she told me that, she said he lived by his credo. His credo was being a helper. His credo was all about being a help. And so I brought out his quote, and I wanted to read it to you today. When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. And when I see that, I see the experts, you know, these medical experts who are on television and telling us what's true, what's really, really going on. And I'm grateful for them. When I am out and about in public, which is very rare, I haven't been out for, almost 10 days, but I keep my distance, but I smile. When I'm out, I'm thinking continually, what can I do to be a person who is going to give the love and the community and the thing that this person needs, even if I'm from afar. And there's a Bible verse that just kept coming into my head, and it's from Psalm 121:1, and it says, I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. There it is. So Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. And now we need to ask, so where does our help come from? And we know where our help comes from. That is a verse of comfort. There is help there, there is love there, and there is everything that we need right there. So our job then is to put some skin on it. Even in this time of social distancing, even in this time where there is a lot of fear going around. And honestly, there's a lot of fear mongering going along out there. There's a ton of conspiracies. There's a lot of misinformation that's being put out there left, right, and center without any confirmation. And it really jangles me inside. So I'm not even going to get into that. You know what I'm going to say? How can we be helpers? How can we be the ones that people are looking to? How can you be a helper? How can you have that heart like Mr. Rogers that's so big that when you look at him, with him not even saying a word, you're smiling because of his love, because of his empathy, because of his compassion for all the people around him? How can we emulate how Mr. Rogers did it here on earth? How can we do that? So I made a little list, and I'm going to share that with you in just a minute. But first, I have got a really good quote for the week, a new quote, because you know how I like a new quote. And on Saturdays, on Soulful Saturdays, that's exactly what we do, is we bring out the quotes, because a quote can anchor us. And I love things that anchor me and make me feel like I'm strong, I can do this, and not have the wavering, yikes, what's going on here? It's really easy to go there if we choose. And it's also very easy to make an about turn and say, from whom does my help come from? Keep your anchor in the right place, ladies. And Marie Curie had this beautiful quote. And if you know Marie Curie, first woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize, and basically she got in the whole thing with radiation and everything. And she did so much science and brought us into the 20th century. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so we can fear less. Do you love that quote? There it is. Nothing in life is to be feared. It's only to be understood. We do not have a spirit of fear. We have a spirit of love. We have the ability to expand our hearts beyond the scary, scary news and the fear mongers who are out there. And I don't know about your feed, but I am telling you, I probably defriended about 10 people this week for all their conspiracy crap that they're throwing down. You don't have to be around that. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. We don't need that in our lives right now. What we need in our lives is we need to understand who the helpers are, from whom our help comes from, and to emulate that help. You can be the hands and the mouth and the ears of people who need that. I love that quote too, Yvonne. I think it's a beautiful quote. So this is exactly who we want to be. This is exactly what we want to do. And we're still rolling along here at Saving Dinner, and I'll tell you, it's hit us a little bit here. So every time you buy, from us, we always say thank you and we appreciate it. Thank you for supporting Saving Dinner. And we've got mindful mugs, and glucozyme is going to be that's the supplement of the week. If you put it in your cart, we're going to give you free shipping. If you put $250 in your cart, we're going to send you a mindful mug, a thank you note, and everything is good. And the glucozyme will get you the free shipping as well. But, think about that. That's a pretty good deal. We've got some people who are doing that. We're also transitioning and getting new supplements in. So, good Lord, everything's taking longer because everybody's working with skeletal crews. They're working with skeletal crews. They've got social distancing. You have to admire people who are still doing the work. And there are helpers out there. There's doctors, there's grocery clerks. There are people who are picking up your trash. They're still on the front lines and they're still working with all of this going. I think we should be praying for them. I think we should be writing thank you notes to them. In all this time that we have, this is a time that we can be appreciative and expand our hearts. That should be a challenge to you right now. It's a challenge to me. We can do this. We can do this. We can be the women that we need to be. We can be bigger than ourselves. We can be bigger than ourselves if only we're open to it, if only we're looking to be the help, the heart, the hands, and the eyes of God. We can do that. Think about it. There are people out here right now, you're watching. You've got skills. Well, you know what? And you've got a whole bunch of fabric. Marla was talking about this yesterday. Start sewing. Everybody's got little, patterns on how to make these little masks that everybody needs. Our hospitals are this close to being in trouble, and we can help out. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay? That's one thing that we can do. Also, I want you to watch my alignment series. It's absolutely free. I want you to understand how your body works. When you understand this, then you can do better by your body. There are things that you can do right now today. You don't have to spend a dime, but align with your mind, your soul, and your body. We're all connected. And when we understand that, we operate differently. And I want you to operate from a place of strength, a place of power, and to put that pitiful thinking aside. It doesn't belong to you. You're an empowered woman. You're a wise woman. This is how we do it, you guys. This is how we do it. I forgot to give you the code. It ships free, by the way. Thank you, Jenny, for putting that out there. Every day, I am doing a cooking lesson for absolutely free. And today I'm going to kind of share with you some tips on how I, navigate my refrigerator and think about everything and how I put all of my stuff together. So what I do is I look at, for example, I've got leftover meatloaf. What am I going to do with that meatloaf? Well, I'm going to keep some of it. I'm going to freeze some of it. That's a good thing to do. I had leftover chicken and made a big thing of chicken salad. Now we've got lunches. I have a bunch of bone broth and I've got some broccoli that all needs to be cooked. So guess what? Yesterday I said, yep, there you go. I'm going to do cream of broccoli soup, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. There you go, savingdinner.com/align. I'm so glad Jenny's here. If Jenny wasn't here, I'd lose my brains. Well, she knows. She keeps everything. Speaking of being an anchor, she really is. She's fantastic. Give Jenny her props. Q&A is on Friday as usual. And I really, really appreciate the fact that you came, that you send in your questions so I can answer them. And I will continue to answer your questions and keep you as informed as I possibly could. The broccoli soup's off the hook. Yes, Marianne, we are changing formula. Actually, I'm working directly with a formulator. We're getting our own formulations. They're going to be unique to Saving Dinner, and everything is on purpose. And heads up, spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you exactly this. Marla hasn't told you yet, but we're also doing a small line for the Wise Women's brand that we have together, our Body Clutter brand. We will have 4, and we're calling it the Core 4. You will see those. Those will be coming out, and then we have the more expanded line here. But our whole point is, how do we keep you happy? How do we keep you healthy? What can we do? Now, Marla's going to show you how to clean up your house. I'm going to show you what to do in the kitchen. And then on top of that, you know what we want to do? We want to make sure that we're elevating our health as best we can. And we can do that with supplements. Supplements are never in place, of course, of a healthy diet. You cannot supplement your way out of this. You have to stay on top of it. And I will say one other thing, that if you are defaulting now to a lot of sweet, sugary comfort food, this is not to shame you or sugar shame you or anything, but do understand exactly what's going to happen. You're going to put your immune system at risk. You're going to put your whole health at risk. You're going to add body clutter to your frame. And they're showing that the people who are most at risk for this deadly disease and ending up in the hospital are people with chronic diseases and who are obese. And that's frightening. We don't need to be emerging from this cocoon of ours and be going, yikes, what is all of this about? We don't need to be doing that. We need to be emerging from this cocoon that we're in, transformed. That's what we're about, And I'm putting together and you might see me on my rebounder, I'm creating a rebounding routine. I am creating things right now. I'm creating things to help you, mind, body, and soul. And I'm do as much as I can free. We have paid coaching programs as well. We've got Dinner Answers, which is our menu planning program that's been around for 19 years this year. And we will continue to help feed you. We will continue to hold you up. We will pray for you. We will do everything in our power to help you become an empowered woman. We're not going to go. We're going to be on every day. And twice a day I'm on. And I'm not complaining to you. I'm letting you know I'm not letting you go. And I appreciate you who helped me. Thank you so much for your prayers and the sweet notes that you've been sending me. I mean, you guys are absolutely incredible. What an amazing community we've built, right? And watch me in the hot melt, group. I'm probably going to do a surprise sprint coming up on you. I'm probably going to change some things up. We've got the time. Let's do it. What do you say? We're going to emerge from these cocoons transformed. We're in a cocoon right now. And we might feel like a little bit of a worm and it might feel a little bit tight, but when we burst through, we're going to be beautiful butterflies, new understanding, new compassion, new hearts, new bodies, new souls. We're going to be completely fresh and brand new and more glorious than we've ever been before. What do you say? Are you with me on that? I think this is going to be great. So let's get to it then, shall we? And don't forget, 4 o'clock today, Eastern, right here on this Facebook page, I'm going to show you exactly how I do broccoli. I'm going to use my frozen broccoli and some fresh broccoli. I'm roasting it all up right now, just exactly the way I did yesterday. And I'm going to do a roasted cream of broccoli soup off the hook. Pinky's up. There's my girl Yvonne. I love it. All right, so we are to then practice compassion. If we're going to be compassionate people, if we're going to be people who love and support and become and do and see and hold our communities together, because that's what we're called to do, then we are going to need to practice compassion. I used to, back in those old days when I was on the radio, Compassion International was one of our sponsors, and I used to talk about them a lot, and I was getting ready to go on a trip with them, and there was a crisis, and I was unable to. I was supposed to go to Colombia, South America at the time, but then they had to shut down the trip because of some cartel stuff, which I'm kind of really grateful that I didn't go to Colombia at the time when all of that was going on. But I learned so much from Compassion International and just how little it takes in order to support and to help. It doesn't take a lot. And even if you have nothing to offer, you can pray. You can pray and you can journal, and you can be the hands and the feet, really, of God. You can help. There are ways to help without, being out there in the field. So what can we do? I'm going to give you 10 things. The first thing you can do is you can help yourself. If you're falling apart, if you're thinking about the wrong things, if you're full of anxiety, and if you're spreading about a bunch of false information on Facebook, stop. Right now, stop. And just think of yourself and love yourself as a 3-year-old. If you had a 3-year-old, your 3-year-old, who came to you running in and said, "Mommy, I'm hurt, I'm upset," you would take that 3-year-old, scoop her up, put her in your lap and comfort her, wouldn't you? You'd look at her boo-boo, you'd kiss it better. Do that with yourself. We don't have to get ourselves all worked up. We can unplug. We can unplug in so many ways: the TV, the Facebook, all the things. But the other thing that we can do too is we can re-examine what our focus is on, because what we think about expands. Remember? What we think about expands. And we, right now, regardless of this, being cocooned in right now, I'm just going to say that. I don't want to say the Q word. Regardless, we can focus on the things that are going to support the life that we want to lead. We don't have to stop. We don't have to say, oh, because everything's going crazy right now and I don't know if I'll have toilet paper next week, I'm going to stop working on myself, or I'm going to stop working on my mindset, or I'm going to stop eating well. We don't have to do that. We can instead look at it and say, where's the lesson for me today? You've got that choice. You've got that capability, just like I do. Let's do that. What do you say? The number 2 thing is, if you're flipping out and running around and wondering why your family's kind of going to hell in a handbasket, it's because that's you. They're reflecting what you're giving off. Protect your little family. Protect them. You can love them up. You can read storybooks aloud. You can, and even for you, even for your husband, read aloud. Do some old-fashioned things. Get on the piano. Do a sing-along. Watch some museums on TV. Watch things that are uplifting and just good for your heart. So that's what you can do for your family. And for your neighbors, if you have an elderly neighbor, somebody who can't get out or whatever, offer, when you go out to the grocery store, to go get them some groceries. Offer to do something for them, walk their dog or whatever. Keep the appropriate distance, but we have to be not just focused on ourselves, not even on our families, but what we can do for our community. As small as it is, it's still significant. If we all, think about what that would look like if we all did that. We would transform this world. And if this is a time of transformation, which I believe it is, take a look at Venice, Italy. The canal's completely transformed. There's swans and dolphins in there because the people went away. Well, we are the people, and we've gone away for a minute. So while we're here, let's transform. Let's look for cleaning things up. And then, can I just say this? Don't be a hoarder. Don't be one of those people. Don't have 9,000 rolls of toilet paper and your neighbor's using old socks or whatever. Be the kind of person that understands that from whom the abundance came from will give you more. The old story about in the Bible, when the manna came down from heaven, those who hoarded it, it turned to worms. We can't do that. We have to instead be generous in spirit. That generosity is going to spill out. That generosity is going to spill out, and that is catchy. That's what I want to catch. I want to catch it from everyone around me. And Number 5 is delight in being of service. If somebody asks you to do something or sew something or whatever, if you can sew and you can make masks for, this big shortage that with, what are they, PPEs, is that what they're calling it in the hospital? Get busy. Get busy. You can be of service. Delight in that. When you delight in that, God delights in you. And then, are you smiling at me right now? I'm smiling at you. A smile goes so far. And when we smile at each other, we're letting each other know we're still humans. We still have connections. We can still love. And these things are not taken from us, you guys. We have the ability to spread it around. Number 7, clean up, man. Get out there and clean up. I was looking in my bathroom, and I have all this, woodwork and what have you. And I thought, you know what? All of it. I'm going to hit all of it. I'm going to detail clean all of it. And not because I'm a perfectionist, but because everything else in the house is clean. I have nothing left to do. And so I'm going to do that. I'm also going to clean my pantry and my laundry room and underneath my sink because they all need it. I've already gone through all my clothes. I've done everything. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to share it all with you. If you want to see my house, I'm going to share it all with you. Oh, and this office, it's pretty bad. I'm going to get this office cleaned up too because, it's funny. My house is immaculate, but my office, well, my she-ness comes flying out. Let's just put it to you that way. And though I've got a research table for my book, and that's going to stay the same, but the rest of it, I'm going to clean this thing out. It's going to gleam, okay? And you have also an opportunity to clean up some habits. Who has a bad habit that they want to break? I'm going to bet there's 1 or 2 of you out there who have a bad habit that you want to break. Well, write them out. Write out all those bad habits and look at how can I flip that habit? What can I do instead? How can I make it better? See, there's something we can work on. And then take a look at number 8 is donate. If you've cleaned things up, there are still places that will pick stuff up. I do believe the Salvation Army is still picking up. They won't pick up for me because I live on top of a mountain, but you can put it out there. You can send it to whatever place you want to donate. It's totally up to you. I just mentioned the Salvation Army because they pick up and they've been very good. And also I like their practices as a nonprofit because they truly are a nonprofit. The other thing is teach. How about that? How about teaching? Here's something that you can do. Joanne said you could show us the big reveal. Well, my house is pretty much done. It's all clean. There's nothing to clean up, except the only thing that I have to clean up is my office. I can show you. I'm going to show you the before and after. Sure, I'll do that. Scary, but I will. But yeah, there's things that we can teach. I'm teaching cooking skills. But do you know how to? Joanne knows how to crochet. Joanne, why don't you do a Facebook Live on your Facebook and show and teach people how to crochet? I bet you there's a lot of people who have all these things. They can figure it out. There's a bunch of people out there who probably would love to know how to scrapbook. If you're a scrapbooker, teach it. Everybody can do a Facebook Live from their own Facebook feed. What if you were that teacher? The things you know can be taught. Teach your children. Teach them to cook. Teach them to fold some laundry. Teach them how to do everything. Now is the time to get caught up on your laundry. We don't have excuses anymore. We're in. So now it's time to get down to it, and you can teach somebody in the process, and that's a 1-2 punch right there. Number 10 is comfort. Cook the comfort food that will also feed you body and soul. Cook that kind of stuff, not the stuff that's going to ruin your immune system, but the stuff, that kind of thing. Send a comforting word to a friend. Pick up the phone and call someone. Now is the time to step back. Remember, step back in time. Let's step back in time. Remember the days when we didn't have smartphones or the internet, and you'd pick up the phone and call someone and you didn't even know it was them? What if you did that with a couple of friends right now? Just made a loving, comforting phone call. I was just thinking about you. And then tell them something wonderful about themselves. Maureen says, lots of bad habits here. Yolanda said, same here. Hey, listen, you know what? We all have bad habits, but we have a constraint in which to improve them, right? And it doesn't mean we're going to do everything at one time, but pick one or two things that you can do something with. It's really lovely when you have an opportunity to do something like that. Grab it. Now's your time. This is our time of alignment. This is our time of transformation. This is our time to become the women that we're meant to be. You can find purpose in this. You can find meaning in this, and you can get yourself centered on the right stuff. Do not go off the rails with crazy eating, crazy conspiracy theories, craziness, and perpetuating a lie. You wouldn't believe the cures that have been sent to me. People are sending me this stuff all the time. You wouldn't believe, like, this supplement, but not that one, and then all the crazy yes, but no, but yes, but no. And I finally went into one of my groups, this wellness group that I belong to, and you know what I said? I said, what is it? And then they all came back, and it was just like back and forth. So even in the places where people are trying to do good, they're eating each other alive. And we don't need to be doing that. So keep that stuff to yourself. If you think it's so great, then try it out on yourself. And if it gets proven out by science, then promote it. Okay? Let's be really smart about this. And let's be the helpers. We want to be the helpers. Let's look for the helpers and be the helpers. This is how we are going to keep our sanity in all of this. And this is how we're going to save our own souls in all of this. It's Soulful Saturday. It's time to hunker down. When we look at our souls and the soul work that we have to do, that is how we expand the compassion and the empathy that's in our hearts. We open up our knowing, our intuitions, and we become the wise women that we are meant to be. And right then and there, that's the starting place of purpose. Okay? Believe that. Believe that. So I hope I see you at 4 p.m. down in my kitchen for my roasted broccoli, cream of broccoli soup. Oh my goodness, you're going to love it. And it's so easy to make. You're going to love this. No recipe. It's easy to make. I'm going to show you, and we'll do some close-ups with the camera and such, just so that you can see. I love no recipes, but I also like having recipes. And if you want one and a free one, go to savingdinner.com. Right there, as soon as you sign up for the Daily Dish newsletter, we'll give you a free plan. However you eat, paleo, low carb, name that tune. We've got it all. Those recipes. That's how we do it. We share a lot. When you share, you care. And by the way, share this. Would you share this video with somebody who needs to be lifted up? It's time for us to come together as a group of women, a community of women who are wise and who want to share good news on how we can not only get through this, but transform completely, 100%. What do you say? Pinkies up, girls. Peace. I love you. I appreciate you all so, so much. And don't forget, the store is open. Thank you for supporting savingdinner.com. I appreciate you all. Love you. Bye.